Okay, ready to dive deep into something pretty wild.
I am. Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to be looking at this declassified CIA report from like 1983.
1983. Wow.
Yeah, it recently resurfaced. It's all about something called, get this, the Gateway Experience.
Interesting name.
Right. Basically, it was the CIA exploring the possibility of psych spies.
Psychic spies. Okay, you've got my attention.
Yeah, this is real stuff. It's not just, conspiracy theories or science fiction.
Well, it kind of sounds like science fiction, but you're saying this is an actual document.
Real deal. Straight from the intelligence community. They were really trying to figure out if they could use, like, altered states of consciousness for spying.
I mean, that's wild, right? To think that they actually considered this seriously.
Seriously. So this Gateway Experience, it was developed by this group called the Monroe Institute.
Yeah, I've heard of them. They do a lot of work with sound and consciousness.
Right, yeah. Do you know, like, what exactly they were trying to do with this program?
Well, the core of it was this technique they called Hemi-Sync. Basically, they'd use like specific sound frequencies to try and synchronize the two hemispheres of the brain.
Okay, and what was the point of that?
Their theory was that by syncing up the brain hemispheres, you could induce these altered states of consciousness. And in those states, people could potentially like access information beyond their normal senses.
Whoa, hold up. Like, what kind of information are we talking about here?
I thought it could be anything, really, like enemy plans, locations of secret bases, hidden technologies, stuff you wouldn't normally be able to access.
That's crazy. So, like, these spies could basically tap into, what, some kind of universal knowledge database?
Right. Think of it like a spy tapping into some kind of universal information field, gathering intel on, enemy plans or technologies, all without like physically going anywhere.
Right, a universal information field. That's where it starts to sound like we're going way past science and into the realm of, I don't know, the paranormal.
It definitely gets pretty far out there. I mean, the report even tries to explain it using concepts from like neuroscience and quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics. Come on, how does that even fit in here?
Well, they were basically suggesting that human consciousness isn't just a product of the brain. They thought it might be more like a hologram, like a projection from some deeper level of reality.
Okay, so how does a hologram spy on people?
Well, it wasn't exactly mind reading in the way we usually think of it. More like by tapping into this altered state, this deeper level of reality, they could potentially access some kind of collective unconscious, like a reservoir of information that goes beyond individual minds.
The collective unconscious, like we're all connected somehow.
Yeah, something like that. They believed that by tapping into this collective unconscious, you could potentially do all kinds of things, like remotely viewing distant locations or even influencing events from afar.
Okay, now that is straight out of a science fiction movie.
It does sound pretty wild, but we got to remember this was the Cold War, right?
Yeah, true. The stakes were pretty high back then.
Exactly. Both sides were just desperate to get any edge they could. And I guess the potential of psychic espionage, even if it sounded crazy, was just too tempting to ignore.
I mean, I get it. If it actually worked, it would be a game changer.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine being able to bypass all physical security measures. No need for secret agents sneaking around. You could just sit in a room and get the information straight from people's minds. Pretty scary when you think about it.
Yeah, definitely unsettling. And, I mean, it makes you think about the ethical implications, too.
For sure. I mean, were they really thinking about the ethics of experimenting on people's minds like that, especially without their full understanding or consent? It all sounds a little too much like MKUltra.
Oh, yeah, that other Cold War mind control program. The CIA's track record with this kind of stuff isn't exactly stellar, is it?
Not at all. It's pretty disturbing, to be honest. Though I guess with Gateway, they were at least trying to expand consciousness, not just control it.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference there. So did they ever actually succeed in creating, like, a real team of psychic spies?
Well, despite all the hype and, years of research, the report suggests that they never really proved that psychic phenomena even existed.
So no Jedi spies for the CIA.
Nope. Not that we know of, at least. I mean, it's possible they're still working on it somewhere. Some top secret lab. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know with these guys. So in the end, do you think this whole Gateway experience was just a big waste of time and money?
Well, on one hand, they didn't achieve their goal. But on the other hand, it does give us a pretty unique glimpse into the lengths governments will go to explore the unknown, especially when national security is on the line.
It's a good reminder that reality is often stranger than fiction.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder what other, mind-blowing projects might be tucked away in those classified archives, just waiting to be declassified.
Yeah. Who knows what else they were experimenting with back then? Makes you think, doesn't it? And, I mean, what about the potential of human consciousness? Like, is there really more to our minds than we currently understand?
That's the big question, isn't it? Maybe the CIA didn't find the answers they were looking for, but they definitely raised some pretty profound questions that we're still grappling with today.
The Gateway experience may have been a dead end for the CIA, but it's definitely not a dead end for exploration and thought, that's for sure.
No doubt. And it's a story that keeps getting more interesting the deeper you dive into it.
Well said. And that's exactly what we do here on The Deep Dive.
Love it. Always up for a good deep dive.
And for all of you listening out there, keep diving, keep questioning, and keep those minds open. You never know what you might discover.